we go. All right. Hold on a sec. What's going on here? There we go. Welcome back to our new moon power circle. This is day 3. So where you may be today, and if you're not here yet, that's okay. Just trust the process. It's coming to you. We're in a practice of listening so as to lead. Today is a day where we invite the pieces, the puzzle piece to sort of waft in and find their little click, and close your day as we get to the end of the day with a, "Ooh, okay, I hear you," or "I hear me," or "I hear, and I'm following," or "I'm following." And we're opening the doors into that today. So I invite you in this morning with the writing prompts that we have to be listening for how things click, how things come together. Last night in the releasing healing session with Janet, it was about fear and it was about trust. And underneath the fear was that big, beautiful, deep trust. And I think as we practice this listening so as to lead, it's really trust on day 3 that we're leaning into. It's really about expecting the puzzle pieces to click. Expecting, as I would say, a divine appointment, expecting a divine click and go, ah. Sometimes we even feel it in our bodies differently. And yesterday rather, it was with a client, and we were talking about how do you know what you know? And so I offer that to you. Like, how do you know what you know? And what happens for you when you know you're knowing? What happens for you when you know you're knowing? And to even allow yourself to not be so absolute about that. Because even when you think, oh, well, I know how I know. Okay. But I bet you there are times that your knowing has arrived in a different way. Like sometimes your knowing might arrive like a big thud. I cannot move any longer. I have to do this. And it's a big thud. But I bet you there are times that your knowing literally just wafts in. And you're walking and like, oh, I know that. So, we don't want to hold our knowing so tight. We just want to allow our knowing in and to trust it. So, as today, we can practice our knowing, listening to our knowing. So, with that, I want to welcome and I'm grateful for Grandmother Fire, for creation, for fire in our belly, for keeping us warm, for keeping us lit up and saying yes to all that is ours and waiting for us. To Grandmother Earth, this morning, Grandmother Crystal, Grandmother Crystal, Grandmother Earth, for taking and receiving what we no longer need through us, for grounding us, for stabilizing us, reminding us she is always there to receive what we can give back to her. For Grandmother Wind of inspiration, Grandmother Wind of breath, of possibility, of flow, reminding us we can let go. And Grandmother Water, my favorite, the land between lands, the land between earth and sky, holding us as we float and allow. And of course, Grandmother Moon, holding all of us in this story of this time together, in rotation, in magnetic pull, in relationship, in all that we are. Okay, I have 3 readings for us today and writing prompts. So this one comes from Cheryl Strayed. So yesterday we spent a lot of time in the artist. I've got Book of Awesome is coming back. So is Native Wisdom for White Minds. And my Cheryl Strayed. Cheryl Strayed's my favorite kind of like kick in the pants. And beautiful things, but usually there's a kick in the pants in her stuff. So we're building on last night's conversation about fear and trust. Yesterday's conversation and writing about expansion into possibility and the artist and awesome. And the night before of remembering that we are resourced. All right. The most terrible and beautiful and interesting things happen in a life. Whatever happens to you belongs to you. Make it yours. Feed it to yourself, even if it feels impossible to swallow. Let it nurture you, because it will. So, your writing prompt this morning, I'm letting it nurture me. I'm letting it nurture me. ... I'm letting it nurture me. And write and breathe and breathe and write. And find a loving, nurturing way to bring that to a close. Knowing you can always come back if there is more for you. What is nurturing your path this month? Take a breath of gratitude for you, for the story of you and the story that is speaking to you. A breath of trust, of your wisdom. And then have a little read when you feel ready. Like it's a message to you, from you. And notice the words that spin or shimmer, or phrases that knock or whisper. Let yourself be surprised by what's present. Okay. Next piece for you. Yeah, this one. Okay. Next piece for you comes from Native Wisdom for White Minds by Ann Wilson Schaaf. Following Directions and Trust is the heading. Whenever the Creator gives you something, don't hesitate. Grab it. It's from a Native American elder. I've always seen myself as a risk taker. I often go where angels fear to tread, and I walk through many doors that have warning signs on them. Yet, when the elder told me not to hesitate, I was taken aback. Maybe I'd better think about this. Maybe I need to weigh all the implications. Maybe I'm not capable or don't have what it takes. I realized how often I do hesitate, especially in spiritual matters. I do not feel ready. I don't feel qualified. I don't know the right way to do it. I need to trust that if the Creator gives me a gift or an assignment, all I have to do is grab it. So your writing prompt is just that. All I have to do is grab it. ... All I have to do is grab it. And begin. Okay, and as you feel ready, bring that to a close. All you had to do is grab it. And take a breath of gratitude or awareness. for your knowing, for the ease and clarity of your own voice, for the trust that is brewing within you. And then have a little read. Is there anything in there that is saying, ooh, this? All arrows point to this. Do you notice a word that you've been repeating? Is there something underneath the words that you keep noticing? And our last reading, and I think we're going to have enough time to share if we want to after this one. We've got a little bit ahead of time, which is great. This last reading comes from the Book of Awesome, which yesterday's story is NMPCIRCLE was going through a hard time, very hard time, decided to write an awesome thing every day, turned it into a blog, and the blog went bananas. And they're just simple, awesome things. And this one feels like it ties into where we're going today. So the title of this one is When You're Driving Late at Night on an Empty Gas Tank and a Gas Station Appears on the Horizon. Awesome. When it's late at night on a lonely road and your fuel gauge starts flirting with the big E, it's gut check time. First, you enter fuel preservation mode and start accelerating really slowly and coasting nonchalantly through stop signs to save your precious remaining fumes. Next, maybe you fall into a bit of a blame game, wondering why you let yourself get to this terrible place and pledging never to do it again. After that, it's time for survival mode, where you make a mental checklist of all the emergency food and supplies you have in the car, imagining yourself building a napkin blanket to keep warm and eating restaurant mints and ketchup packets to survive. And then finally, when hope is almost lost, with that fuel light burning brightly, that steering wheel gripped tightly, and those hands shaking slightly, you drive up another dark, lonely hill and finally notice that some blissful, heaven-sent gas station lights appearing just over the horizon. Awesome! So your writing prompt for this one is just over the horizon is ... Just over the horizon is ... And begin. Bring that one to a bit of a close. A little bit shorter than our previous ones. When we have time, we can share. Take a moment to bring that to a nice, easy close as it works for you. Breath of recognition. Seeing what is there for you, waiting for you, nurturing you, delighted for you. What's just over the horizon? We've got about 7 minutes. Just want to check in and see if there's if anybody you want to share, and we can turn the camera off if we don't want to record. That's okay. But if we're okay with that, it's also lovely to share. Is anyone noticing anything? Not all those who wander are lost. Daphne, I love it. Yes, that is gorgeous. Yeah, so true. Ash, yeah, hi.
Hi. Um, yeah, there's been lots of words around like journeying. Um, I've kind of pulled out like what I've circled and then I've like boxed it in. I don't think you can see it, but I've like made boxes around kind of these like um nuggets of wisdom that have kind of come through. And um so I have in the emptiness I find what brings me into fullness. I am blissfully alive as the curator of my own life, living out my truest soul's expression, which is also very much today. Today was the life that is or just over the horizon is the life that is guided and led by the voice of my inner knowing. And then I've been journeying, like a journey to help people return to their aliveness. Write it down, map the journey, guide the way. Um, so there's very, very loud inner voice asking me to step into teaching.
Wow.
Um, I'm building out classes, I guess, if you will, and just coming back full circle into the seat of like the facilitator and the teacher, but wanting to be like really owning and feeling into the energy of teaching,
Mm,
um, as I have in the past when I've done all of my storytelling work. But there's just a new energy,
mm,
because I'm bringing in my artist who's like healed this time.
yeah,
Because when I was doing all my storytelling work, I was very blocked, or when I was working with other people, sorry, um, I was very blocked myself. So, the blessing of the pandemic is that it gave me space to heal my own stories,
yeah,
um, and really just um, embrace my artist that is now like leading me to teaching. So
wow,
that's the journey that's just revealing, and like that's like saying grab hold, like it just feels like it's at arm's reach. So
wow. Can I offer a word that really rang for me that when you
yeah,
said it?
yeah, of course.
I was like, "Oh, wow, she's a journey accompanier."
Mm,
Like, I just yeah. Like, yeah, I hear teacher and I hear facilitator, but, um, outside the box of what we think teacher and facilitator is. Wow, a
yeah.
journeyer. Beautiful, thank
Yeah,
you.
I love that actually, Tina, because I've been playing around with that language of like, it's the same language of the path as well, right? Where it's like
Mhm,
we're on the path, we're on the journey. And that's very much when I'm like inviting people into the practices that I'm building out is like the journey, right? I mean, we traditionally call it like a class,
yeah,
but it's like you don't take the class and then you're done knowing the thing. You
right.
know what I mean? It only like steps you into the knowing so you further the knowing.
Yeah,
Right? So I love
beautiful.
it. that languaging up because I was like, it's just all these. I'm just creating all these journeys for people to come on with me, and then they can go about their way, um, and live them out in their own lives after.
Yeah. Whole I would write down what you just said. I'm creating all these little journeys that people can come on with me or take in. There's something there. It's like, yep, all these journeys, all these
Yeah.
journeys. Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Hi, Shar. Do you want to jump in with something?
Yeah, I'm gonna tag off of what Ash said because I think it came through. And Ash, I would definitely write down what you shared, and even if you're willing to share it back with the group, because for me, the only reason that I write is as a tool to help curate the life experience I want, and like that's it. And so it definitely is. Um, a sport for me. And so, in that vein, the few things that came through were holding space for expansion. So, you know, all we're doing right now is literally holding space. And I just had that vision of a balloon, and you've got to just hold space for expansion. Other words that came through this morning around grab it was magnetize. And then finally, that the words that fit in with what you were just saying were I always say that freedom comes with a framework. So within a framework, you can be truly free to let go. This is a framework. The house is a framework. Your journeys for folks are a framework. In our human experience, for whatever reason, we need a framework. Um, Yeah. My journey started with people doing a 12-week program from Body for Life. Look it up, Bill Phillips, bleams ago. As soon as I could give them the framework for Body for Life, they just could exhale and just let the magic happen. So I think, yeah, that's just what I want to share because it just plays back off of what I heard from you.
I love that the freedom lives in the framework. And that's all I've been building. Frameworks, frameworks, frameworks. Like that's like the language there is so potent for me right now.
Awesome.
Well, we're just at the hour. I just want to give Daphne a chance. If there's anything that you want to share, Daphne, before we close, not that you have to, but if you want to. No, you're good. Okay. Oh, did you say yes? Oh, she's good. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see those of you who want to jump in tonight for our closing circle. And thank you for being with
Okay.
us in the story of us this morning. And happy new moon.
Thank you, T, for holding. Thanks.
My pleasure. Okay. Everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.